which will be Dr. Swati Sahai from India. Dr. Swati, are you prepared to deliver your speech?
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. So, good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Swati Sahai, speaking from India. And today I'm very thankful to everyone for giving me this opportunity to present my presentation in your conference. So, my presentation is about histomorphological study of pre-malignant lesions of prostate in TERP samples. So before I start my presentation, I would like to brief about the prostate gland. The prostate gland is present at the base of the bladder, which is weighs about 30 to 40 milligram in adult male. It has anterior, fibromuscular, central, periurethral part, and the transition zone. Hello. Hello.
So, well, at least I can hear you.
Yeah.
Yes, I think you can go on. So I hear you clear with no problem.
Hello. Am I visible?
Yes.
Is my PPT visible to everyone? Yes.
Yeah, well, we can hear you and we'll see your screen. Okay. Now the presentation is up again and please continue.
So coming to the content part, the first we have introduction, objective of the study, scope of the objective, material and method, result and analysis, discussion and conclusion. So this prostate, we have two biopsies, that is transurethral resection of prostate and needle biopsies. So my study is includes transurethral resection of prostate. So these are the very apart from needle biopsies and these malignancy. So therefore these specimens have to be thoroughly examined to avoid any false negative diagnosis of adenocarcinoma prostate. There are many non-neoplastic lesions and they are very mimickers of the adenocarcinoma prostate, including pin lesions, which are adenomatous hyperplasia, crowded benign glands, cribriform hyperplasia, sclerosing adenosis, and radiation atypia in benign glands. The first person to describe this pin lesion in prostate was the Ortel. But the term which was coined by the pin is Bostwick in 1989. Ortel in 1926 gave the first description of pre-malignant change in prostate. This pre-malignant change in prostate includes other lesions as well, such as atypical adenomatous hyperplasia, and there is also new lesion added, that is PIA, pre-malignant proliferative inflammatory atrophy. But the most commonest lesion we find is high-grade pin and low-grade pin. Coming to the descriptive nature of this high-grade pin and low-grade pin, these are architectural benign glands with cytological atypia. So cytological atypia comprises of this nuclear hyperenlargement, nuclear crowding, overlapping, and this prominent of nuclei. The key feature which distinguishes between this high-grade pin and low-grade pin is the presence of prominent nucleoli in high-grade pin and focal descriptive disruption of basal cell layer. And these two can be with the discriminated, defined by IC marker, that is Amaker, and P63, which is a basal cell layer marker. P63 is focally disrupted in high-grade PIN, but it is positive in low-grade PIN, and it is totally disrupted in adenocarcinoma prostate. Coming to the demographic study of adenocarcinoma prostate and PIN lesions worldwide, every day new cases, 1.4 million cases are reported, and the mortality rate is 3,75,000, and the new incidence rate is 6.3 to 83.4 per 1 lakh men across the region. This is according to the Global Cancer Statistics 2020. The objective of my study was to study morphological features of pre-malignant lesions of prostate, that is high-grade PIN and low-grade PIN, and to apply Gris's criteria to the adenocarcinoma prostate which are present in the pre-malignant lesion. The scope of the objective was to study morphological features of H&E stain and by using immunohistochemistry, by using P3 and Amaker marker, high grade and low grade PIN, then studying association based on Gleason scoring, applying to the carcinoma component. So in material methods, initially the 70 sample size was selected, but based upon availability, 100 sample size were collected. And it was done in the period from December 2016 to 2018 in my institute. Inclusion criteria was all top specimen, and then all top specimen diagnosed as prostatic intraepithelial neoplasia and atypical adenomatous hyperplasia and proliferative inflammatory atrophy. That is all the PIN lesions. And the exclusion criteria such as unpreserved sample, and there's a benign mimics of malignancy such as central zone histology of prostate in the central zone, then clear cell cribriform hyperplasia, then atrophic lesions. All those were excluded from the study, and also the invasive carcinoma which are not associated with the PIN. So a total of 100 cases were studied, and all specimens were top samples, not the needle biopsies. And then written consent was taken from all the patients. And these all top samples are fixed in for 10% buffered formalin and then processed routinely as per the SOP. In my results and analysis for these 100 cases, we see that the most number of cases are present in 50 to 60 and 60 to 70 years of age. That is 33% and 37%. Then histopathological diagnosis observed in TERP is the most number of cases obviously was BPH, and then only 4 cases of high grade PIN and 10 cases of low grade PIN were studied, and 4 cases of incidental carcinoma were observed with high grade PIN. This is the age-wise distribution of prostatic lesions. As you see, the most number of cases were present in 60 to 70 and 70 to 80, and also in the 50 to 60 years of age. And also we have found 2 lesions of BPH in 80 to 90 years of age. This was the clinical presentation in benign and malignant lesion. So in the prostate, we see frequency of increased maturation, retention, urgency, filling of residual urine, and painful initiation of urine. So the most common was increased frequency of maturation because of the increased size of the prostate, and also the filling of residual urine, and then painful initiation of urine. So we have divided the malignant lesions in 3 different categories. So the category 1 is nodular hyperplasia with PIN lesion. Then category 2 is adenocarcinoma with PIN lesion. And category 3 is BPH with adenocarcinoma and PIN lesions. So in category 1, the total number of cases were 10. And in category 2, that is the pin with adenocarcinoma constitute only 4% of cases in the top biopsies. There are the various architecture of high-grade pin were also observed. That is tufting, cribriform, macropapillary, and flat pattern. Tufting was only 14.2% and cribriform also was at 14.2% in my study. Macropapillary and flat pattern was not observed in my study. This is the Gleason scoring criteria, which was applied to the incidental adenocarcinoma of prostate and which was associated with the pin lesions. So we see here the Gleason scoring of 7 and 8 constitute about 14.28% respectively. Then this is the IHC marker which I have used for my study, that is AMACAR and P63, which is a basal cellular marker in pin lesion and adenocarcinoma. So this P63 was focally present in high-grade pin but totally absent in adenocarcinoma prostate. And this AMACAR is present in adenocarcinoma prostate but was absent in BPH lesions and also in the high-grade pin. So this is the slide I'm showing you. Here the 10x power with well-differentiated tumor gland on the right side. And the left side, you see the high-grade pin. You see the crowded nucleus overlapping is there. And also the basophilic cytoplasm with amorphous cytoplasm. And the nucleus has there is a loss of polarity. And the key feature in this high-grade pin is the presence of nucleoli in the high-grade pin. And there is a focal description of the basal cellular also in the high-grade pin, but it is present in the low-grade pin. And this is the pattern showing a cribriform pattern. This is the low-grade pin gland. There is a minimal crowding, minimal overlapping. There is no nucleomegaly, and the basal cellular is intact. And it is almost similar to the benign glands of prostate. This is the high-grade pin in tufting pattern, where you see the nucleus overlapping and crowding in a tufting pattern, which are going towards the luminous structure with and having a clear cytoplasm here. This is showing the tumor gland which was seen in the pin structure beside the pin glands. And this was the AMACAR positive in high-grade pin, cytoplasmic positivity. And this is the P63 positive in the pin gland, which was present in the high-grade pin and the low-grade pin structure. Coming to the review of literature, this term pin was, as I told you earlier, it was coined by Bostwick in 1987, but the pre-malignant lesion was first discovered by this McNeil in 1926. Initially, there was 3 grade. Then later on, it was merged into low-grade pin and high-grade pin. In a study conducted by Reiki et al., there was 29.9% of pin in BPH in prostatectomy specimen. And in their discussion, they have supported the evidence for pin is much greater than atypical adenomatous hyperplasia, with high-grade pin the most likely precursor of the adenocarcinoma prostate arising from the peripheral zone in the prostate. So in this study, we had 4 cases of coincidental carcinoma amounting to 4% as against the observation of Frederick S. J. Jordan et al., which is of 58.27. Why there was so much of 58.27% in the Jordan case? Because they had considered 731 turf specimen, in which pin 1 and pin 2 was 29% and 21%. So after we combine all these 3, pin 1 is 8%, but pin 3 is 50% in Jordan cases. In our study, we have used P63 as a basal cell marker and AMACAR for pin lesion at adenocarcinoma prostate, and it revealed that P63 was focally present in high-grade pin, totally absent in adenocarcinoma prostate. So the study conducted by Anand et al., 40 suspicious cases were resolved by using this basal cell marker P63 and high molecular weight cytokeratin marker. Their study correlated with another study in which it is said that P63 is superior marker than high molecular weight cytovate keratin. That is why in our study we have used P63 marker and AMACR for differentiating between high grade pain, low grade pain and adenocarcinoma prostate. So conclusion, the gold standard of this is diagnosis. From the above study, it is concluded that BPH remains the most common lesion in the TERP, and histopathology remains the gold standard for diagnosis of pre-malignant lesion. Only then we go for the IHC study after diagnosing in the slide. And the most common lesion and the pre-malignant lesion on the prostate is high-grade pain, because low-grade pain is not usually reported in the BPH cases. Why? Because the low-grade pain is similar to the normal nodular hyperplastic glands of the prostate. But because high-grade pain has focally disrupted gland, presence of nuclei, nuclear enlargement, nuclear physiological atypia is there, and the presence of this IHC marker, which correlates with this adenocarcinoma prostate. That is why high-grade pain is the only lesion which is considered as the pre-malignant lesion of the prostate. Thank you.
So thank you, Dr. Swati, for this very comprehensive and informative presentation. Are there any questions from the audience? Well, I've got a question. How many tissue blocks do you embed usually if you analyze the TERP material?
Usually we submit all the TERP chips for the diagnosing cases. Okay. To avoid any, yeah, we embed all the tissue chips.
Okay, that's very good. So what's your approximate number of tissue blocks you have in your TERP specimen?
8. Mostly 8. Hello.
Hello. Yes, we hear you. We hear you.
Yes, mostly 8 number of TERP chips have been embedded for the study.
Okay. Thank you. Any more questions?
Thank you.